Wednesday morning, and for the first time since we've been here in the Lake District, we've woken up to bright sunshine, and it's amazing. So we're going off on a little bit of a trek today. We're going to go up to the Old Man of Coniston, which is one of the mountains here, and we're going to see what we're going to see. But should be some spectacular views. It'd be amazing to actually see a bird of prey, because I've only seen one so far on a video monitor in a nest. But it's lakes to walk past, high crags. It's going to be awesome. So we're going to take you on that journey with us. We'll see you later. Behind me you can see snow-covered peaks. Now yesterday in the forecast they actually had snow. We didn't actually see any snow coming down and we laughed. But there's no doubt about it, up on the Old Man, that's the hill behind us, there is snow. And that kind of points out something that's really, really important when you go anywhere that's up high, fell walking. Always check the weather forecast, because there would be nothing worse than getting halfway up or 2/3 of the way up and getting caught off or cut off by a blizzard or bad weather. Plan your route carefully. Make sure that your map is clearly marked so you can easily see where you're going. And if possible, make sure someone else knows too. Thank you. We're about a mile away from the summit of the Old Man, and we've come on to an archaeological site of what's got to be quarried. And there's several obviously collapsed buildings, there's collapsed mine works, there's still some metal work here. But it's almost kind of like walking into another world. You know, like history is still a part of where we are. It's nice to just take a moment, because we can't go back in time. But if we just give ourselves a piece of calm and just stop and think, then it's not inconceivable that we can actually feel a little bit of that history kind of going through us almost. But if nothing else, just taking the air, taking the view, feel the cleansing of the wind, or the breeze. Because this is just magic. Magic moments. It's a lake fairly near the summit of the Old Man. These are Ordovician hills, I think that's the right word, and what we're sitting on right now is volcaniclastic sandstone. Volcaniclastic sandstone. But probably to you and me, I think most of it's slate, because looking at the mining, it's all full of slate. I tell you, this would be the most amazing place to fill your pockets of skimmers to put across this lake. So forgive me for a moment, because I've got to go and I've got to do some skimming. So, a couple of things have been crossing my mind just lately. You remember when we were at the lake, I said, it all looks like slate to me. Well, I think the slate was just brought in for the paths. But you know what? They obviously bring in some of the rocks for the paths as well. Because if you live here, then you know how dangerous it can be walking in fells and walking in hills. And you know people are going to want to go to the top of the Old Man. So how do you get all the rocks and things and the slate that you need here? Well, these bags are a bit of a giveaway, because here it says airlift bulk bag. There's no way, I was saying to my wife as we came up here, there's no way anything drove up here. These had to be dropped off by helicopter. So not only do we need helicopters to rescue us when we're silly and we get caught, we also need it to bring in the materials so that we can come up to places like the Old Man of Coniston safely. How cool is that? So, Gillian, you've managed to reach the top of the Old Man of Coniston. How does that feel?
Looking at the views, I'd say, yeah, worth all the pain.
So, were there any places on the way up where you thought, I'm seriously not going to make this?
When I first looked at it, and then we got to the lake, it was just amazing. And looking up and seeing the snow, thinking, yeah, I'm going to touch that snow. So, no.
Wow. And do you like the way that every footstep the view changed?
Yeah, I mean, we followed people up and suddenly they disappear, and then it was like, oh, where are they going? It was like they were going inside the mountain, and there were certain stops that we had, whereas actually you could actually go inside the mountain, and I did lose you for a while. But yeah, no, it was good.
Thank you very much. This is the peak of the Old Man of Coniston, 803 metres high. We've pretty much climbed the whole lot. We're a couple of metres above Coniston where we're staying. It's 1.75 kilometres or miles, I think, from the car park. It feels like a lot longer, but because they work the paths really carefully, because people are always going to want to get to the top. We've zigzagged and zigzagged. We've stopped off at the lake, but it's amazing. You can see the whole of Lake Coniston from here. You can see Lake Windermere from here. You can see to the Irish Sea from here. We can see sandy beaches, but most of all, we can see the snow that looked a long way away when we set off from our holiday cottage this morning. Love it. So, this is Goat Tarn. We're on our way down from the Old Man of Coniston, and I have to confess, coming down, although it's much easier, it's actually much harder, especially when, if you're like me, your knees are not quite as good. Going up somehow was an awful lot simpler, more about strength rather than joints, I guess, or muscles. But Gillian's finding it a lot easier to come down. She's able to breathe a lot easier, so that's cool. Although maybe it's because the if you like, the descent is more gradual and shallower. Maybe it's requiring less oxygen. Anyway, it's still beautiful here. We've literally got one of those moments, we've just come around a corner, we're out to the wind, and we're in the sunshine, and all of a sudden the temperature has just lifted hugely. We're walking through a vast tract of gorse, which you can probably see quite closely now from the flowers is part of the pea family. It's prickly as anything, but you know, we're getting back towards our cottage now. We're coming to the end of the walk. It's been absolutely fantastic. Right now, just want to get back to the cottage and have a bath. Now those white cottages right in the middle of the picture, one of those is the one we're staying in. Yay, been awesome.